Hello and welcome to another episode of the Middle Order Cricket Podcast. We're doing a very special one today with the PSL 2021 preview. I'm joined by supporters of several of the teams competing. We've got Khizar backing Lahore. We've got Waqas Mahmood backing Multan. Izzy, who's backing Islamabad United. And we've got our executive consultant to analyse the teams, Farrakh Ashraf. We're going to move on to Islamabad United, the most successful PSL team thus far, having won 2 trophies. Izzy, you must be a very proud fan. 2 trophies and a third one maybe on the way.
Inshallah. Very proud. Not from day one, always been my team. I'd say there's a good balance again in this year. I'm going to start off with a weak criticism of my own team straight up, and that is I want to see a bit more involvement with the overseas. Far too often in the PSL, just across the board, we're seeing young Pakistanis, and it's nice to see them taking ownership on leadership. And this is one of those teams where it's a fairly young team. So the one different thing that I want to see this year from last year is last year, the younger guys who were leading the team, so the likes of Shadab and a few others, were kind of left to it. If you've got someone like, last year they didn't have Alex Sales, but they did have a few other experienced foreigners. Just want to see the foreigners get involved a bit more and not just come and turn up and have a bash. I know it's not quite as simple as that, and they're not doing that, but it seems like that way sometimes. If they're bowlers, they're just getting their quarter out the way. If they're batters, they're just getting their batting out the way. Last year wasn't very good. Fair enough, they might be the most successful team, but that doesn't mean anything. This is a new season, new start. What you've done in the past doesn't count for shit right now. So just because they might have a bit of know-how, and also the thing to consider is when they've won it in the previous years, I'd say it's good 75%, which is a big chunk. The team was different. So now you've got a complete different setup in terms of the team anyway. You've got new foreign players. It's a new start. Looking at the team, there's not many holes in the team. They've got young fast bowlers, locals. They've got foreign decent bowlers. So Chris Jordan's coming, I think it is. In terms of batting, you've got Colin Munro, you've got Alex Hales. I'm looking forward to seeing Phil Salt. I think he's underperformed in terms of recent years in 2020. He's done wellish in the BBL. He's done better in the English league, but his BBL performances have been slightly above average. I think he can perform better. And it's the same with someone like Lewis Gregory. Decent generally across the board in terms of his all-round game. Can bowl decent, can bat decent, but want to see his experience come into it. And someone like Alex Hales, well, he's got a world of experience. As you know, got to see someone like him chip in with some form of leadership. Got to see the more.
Let's just talk about Alex Hales a little bit more. Alex Hales just coming off a very successful BBL. Yeah. He's probably the star opener in the whole tournament.
Yeah. So I don't see many holes in terms of the team. There's decent spinners. The young lad, I think he's called Gohar. Haven't seen a lot of him in terms of international cricket. He hasn't played many games, but see when he's played the PSL, he's done well generally. Shadab, I like how he leads from the front. So there's not many holes in the team, but there will be sticky and controversial moments, and that's when he'll be put to the test. And it shouldn't be just a case of letting the young guys just get on with it, because someone like Shadab obviously needs guidance. That's a given. Want to see the experienced foreigners, because all the foreigners in that team generally happen to have heaps of 2020 experience. So someone like Phil Salt and Lewis Gregory, if they are playing, I'd think Salt will be getting in the team. Gregory might be touch and go. When they are playing, you want to see them chip in with leadership as well. It depends on the setup they have. Maybe because they are new as a group, will they have built that togetherness up in a week, 2 weeks? Highly unlikely, but we don't know what goes on in camps because we're not there. If they're gelled well enough, you want to see that. Them getting on well as a group. That's my only criticism, which is slightly concerning because it is a new group. It's loads of good players in there, but it's a new group. You can have a team of world superstars, but it doesn't mean anything if they can't play well as a team. So hopefully they'll rectify that from last year.
Yep, and your captain, Shadab Khan, hasn't played cricket for a couple of months. That's got to be a bit of a worry for someone who's been a star performer for them over the years.
I think it's a worry for anyone who's been not been playing for a while. They can argue that it's not a concern, but when you don't have match practice, it's going to be a concern. Hopefully, it's not too much of an issue. See, the thing is, when you have someone like him in your team, you've got 3 bites at the cherry, or 2 at least. He's that good in the field. He could make something happen. He's obviously a world-class, talented bowler. His batting is getting better. Can he turn into a genuine all-rounder? Hopefully. Only time will tell. But someone like him, you always know, like, he's in the game. A bit like Rashid, the Afghan bowler. He's always in the game. And someone like that, when you've got someone in the team, you just know it's a matter of time before you see some form of individual brilliance. And hopefully we'll see that early on with him.
And there's been a lot of marquee signings throughout the competition, but you've probably picked up one in Hussain Ali at the perfect time. Yeah.
I like the guy. I remember seeing him in England 2016, and a group of us were sat, I think it might have been Old Trafford, and one chap next to me says to another chap next to me, "Who's this guy?" And from that moment on, honestly, a group of us, we were thrilled with just his whole effort. So right now, he's got back to where he sort of was around the 2017, 2018 mark. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes, especially on the back of a really good series against South Africa. Hopefully, he can implement some of those performances in this team. And I think he adds a lot of experience. I like the fact that he runs in a bit angry. I see Pakistani bowlers being a bit nice. You know, get angry. You're a fast bowler. You're supposed to do that. Let's see an Andre Nell or someone like him. He's borderline a bit too crazy, but it'd be nice to see that kind of attitude because they are fast bowlers at the end of the day.
Yeah, he certainly got his mojo
I like
back.
That whole thing about him.
Yeah, he certainly got his mojo back recently. Waqas, what's impressed you about Islamabad over the years? The fact they've picked up 2 trophies. Do you think there's a reason behind that?
I think it's basically their batting as well, and not just that, they've got the bowling there. You know, the bowling attack they've got is a really good attack. You know, with the bowling, but I think as the main for me is the batting. They've got a very good batting attack there. You know, they've won 2 cups there. Obviously, there's a reason behind it. You know, they've won it. So for me, I would say it's batting and the bowling, and obviously Shadab. You know, if you look at last year, you know, he batted really well, and you know, he's improved his batting. I know he's not played for a few months due to injury there, but I think going forward this year, I think he will become a very good batsman, and not just for Islamabad, for Pakistan as well. So Islamabad, they're a good team. They've won 2 cups, and it's a good, decent team.
Khizar, someone who's had a lot of stick at the national level, Misbah al-Haq, has been involved with this Islamabad team for quite a number of years and has actually done a very good job. A word on his performance at that level?
Yeah, look, Islamabad suits him. It's a very boring city, very boring team, and he's a boring guy. But he gets the job done, and that's what sometimes you need. And, you know, even when he was collecting 2 or 3 paychecks at the same time, he was still doing the job for Islamabad. And it's good to see the likes of Hussain Ali and Shadab come in, because a bit of personality, because otherwise they're just so boring.
Farrakh, any comments on Islamabad United?
Yeah, I mean, I'd reinforce some of the points Khizar's made, but I think, you know, it's a good core of Pakistani players, and I think that's good because you're going to have international players coming and going. One guy we've not mentioned is Fahim Ashraf, also in really good form. I think their issue is going to be finding their best team, because they've got all these players, they've got all these all-rounders, they've got this core Pakistani talent, they've got the foreigners, and I think they're going to struggle a couple of games just to find out who their best 11 is. The coaching side of things, both us been successful in the CPL, but you know, we're talking about Misbah. Well, remember originally it was Dean Jones and Wasim Akram had a lot to do with the initial success at Islamabad and the structure and everything. I think it does look like a good squad. I think it's a good side. As you said, Hussain Ali is a great pick. And with the form of the likes of Fahim as well in there. And you've got Alex Hales. I think we're not talking about Karachi today, but I think Karachi made a big mistake letting Hales go. And I think this is a great get for Islamabad. But I think Shadab needs to prove himself again. I think a lot's going to depend on him, his captaincy and his performance. But I think it's a heavy squad.
I want to come in here on Shadab. I think I realised what you guys are saying about he needs to prove himself in the back. When he came up the order, there was a lot of eyebrows raised. He performed. He did really well. It was certainly beyond any expectations I had of him with the bat and with captaincy. I think he's proved himself in that regard. He's been out of it for a while, but I think he's performed much better than expected. There was very low expectation. Young guy, not batted up the order before, not captain, and he came in and did a really good job.
But he's going to
His
have to
advice,
build it,
steady
right?
on. His advice, steady on. You sound like an Islamabad United fan.
No, it can't be that boring, mate. I need, I'm supporting the city that never sleeps, not the city that sleeps all the time.
That's the end of this preview show. Check out our next episode where we'll cover the rest of the PSL teams and we'll all pick our eventual winners.